A married woman will never tell you she's attracted to you. She won't send you a text saying, "Hey, I know I have a ring on my finger, but I can't stop thinking about you." No, that's not how it works. Instead, she'll communicate it in ways so subtle that most men completely miss every single signal. And here's what makes this even more interesting. According to a study published in the Journal of Sex Research, over 57% of women admitted to having experienced attraction to someone outside their marriage at least once. That's more than half. So the real question isn't whether it happens. The real question is, would you even recognize it if it were happening right now? With someone you already know? Because by the end of this video, you'll understand every hidden signal, every quiet behavior, and every psychological pattern that gives her away. And sign number 7? That one catches men off guard more than any other. Here's something most people won't say out loud. Attraction doesn't care about marital status. It doesn't check for a wedding ring. It doesn't ask for legal documents. It just shows up. And when it shows up in a married woman, the way she handles it is completely different from how a single woman would. A single woman can flirt openly, make bold moves, and be obvious about her interest. A married woman, she operates in code. Everything is layered. Everything has plausible deniability built into it. And that's exactly what makes these signs so difficult to read, unless someone breaks them down for you. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you throughout this video. I'm a woman. I understand how women think, what they do when they're interested, and more importantly, what they do when they're interested, but trying not to show it. There's a massive difference between those two things, and that difference is everything. So let me walk you through the signs that a married woman is genuinely attracted to you. Not because she's a bad person, not because her marriage is necessarily failing, but because human psychology is far more complicated than a ceremony and a set of vows. And if you're watching this, you probably already suspect someone specific, don't you? Let's get into it. This is the most foundational sign, and it's also the easiest one to dismiss. When a married woman is attracted to you, she will engineer situations where she ends up in your presence, and she'll make it look completely accidental every single time. Maybe she starts showing up at the same coffee shop you go to. Maybe she volunteers for the same committee at work. Maybe she suddenly has a reason to walk past your desk 3 times a day when she used to walk past it 0 times. Here's the thing. Women are strategic. We don't do things randomly. If a married woman keeps finding herself near you, trust me, that's not a coincidence. That's a decision dressed up as a coincidence. A study from evolutionary psychological science found that physical proximity is one of the strongest predictors of attraction, and people subconsciously position themselves closer to individuals they find attractive. She may not even fully realize she's doing it at first, but her feet, her body, her daily patterns, they start orienting toward you. And if you've noticed this happening, pay close attention to the next few signs because they're going to confirm what you're already suspecting. Now, this one is fascinating because it's almost impossible to fake. When a married woman is into you, her body will betray her long before her words ever do. She might fix her hair when she sees you walking toward her. She might stand a little straighter, angle her body in your direction, or maintain eye contact just a beat longer than what's considered normal. Here's a detail most men miss entirely. Watch her lips. Not in a creepy way, calm down. But when a woman is attracted to someone, she'll subconsciously touch her lips, lick them slightly, or press them together when that person is speaking. It's a micro-expression tied to arousal and heightened attention, and it's been documented in multiple behavioral psychology studies. Also, pay attention to mirroring. If you lean forward and she leans forward. If you cross your arms and a few seconds later, she crosses hers. If you laugh and she laughs, not at the joke, but at you laughing, that's mirroring. Psychologist Dr. Albert Mehrabian's research showed that 93% of communication is nonverbal. So while she might be saying something perfectly innocent with her mouth, her body could be telling you a completely different story. And honestly, the body doesn't know how to lie the way the mouth does. This one is a major indicator, and it often flies under the radar. When a married woman starts telling you about her frustrations at home, her unfulfilled needs, her loneliness, or the things her husband doesn't understand about her, that's not casual conversation. That's emotional intimacy being offered on a silver platter. A woman who is simply being friendly will keep things surface level. She'll talk about the weather, about work deadlines, about that new restaurant in town. But a woman who is attracted to you, she'll go personal. She'll tell you things that make her feel vulnerable. And vulnerability, as researcher Brené Brown has extensively documented, is the birthplace of connection. She's not just talking to you, she's connecting with you, and she's choosing you as the person she wants to connect with. Not her best friend, not her sister, you. This is where it gets emotionally complicated because once a woman starts building emotional intimacy with a man who isn't her husband, she's already crossed an invisible line in her own mind, even if nothing physical has happened. And most of the time, she knows it. She just doesn't want to stop. You mentioned once 3 weeks ago that you prefer oat milk in your coffee. And now every time she brings coffee to a meeting, yours has oat milk in it. You told her your dog's name in a passing conversation, and 2 months later she asks, "How's Biscuit doing?" This is not a good memory. This is selective attention. When someone is attracted to you, their brain literally prioritizes information about you. It stores it, files it, and retrieves it at the perfect moment to make you feel seen. Neuroscience research on dopamine and attraction shows that the brain treats information about a romantic interest as high-value data, the same way it treats information about food when you're hungry or water when you're thirsty. She's not remembering your dog's name because she loves dogs. She's remembering it because her brain has categorized you as someone important to her emotional world. And let me tell you something. If a married woman remembers small details about you that even your close friends forget, that's one of the loudest quiet signals she can send. Let's be real for a second. You're not that funny. I'm sorry, but most people aren't. And yet, when a married woman is into you, she'll laugh at your mediocre jokes as if you're performing a sold-out comedy special. That half-baked pun you made about spreadsheets? She's giggling. That terrible observation about the office microwave? She's practically in tears. This isn't politeness. This is biology. Research from the Evolution and Human Behavior Journal found that women laugh more in the presence of men they're attracted to, not because the humor is better, but because laughter serves as a social bonding mechanism and a signal of romantic interest. So if she's laughing at everything you say, especially things that no reasonable person would find amusing, that's not about your comedy skills. That's about her feelings for you. And honestly, if you start paying attention to who laughs at your worst jokes, you'll learn more about who's attracted to you than any dating advice could ever teach you. This is where things get really telling. If a married woman starts texting you about things that have absolutely nothing to do with work, shared responsibilities, or any logical reason for the two of you to be communicating, that's a sign, a big one. She sends you a meme at 11 p.m. She forwards you a song and says, "This made me think of you." She messages you on a Sunday afternoon to ask how your weekend is going. None of this is necessary. All of it is intentional. Here's what's happening psychologically. She's trying to stay in your mental space. She wants to be a thought in your head even when she's not physically in front of you. And the timing matters too. Late-night messages carry a different emotional weight than a noon text. If she's reaching out when the house is quiet and the day is winding down, that tells you exactly where her mind goes when distractions disappear. Communication experts call this maintenance communication. It's the kind of contact designed not to exchange information, but to maintain emotional connection. And when a married woman does this with a man who isn't her husband, it's one of the clearest indicators that something beyond friendship is developing. I told you earlier that sign number 7 catches men off guard, and here's why. When a married woman is into you, she won't pretend her husband doesn't exist. Instead, she'll mention him, but she'll frame the marriage in a way that subtly communicates, "I'm not happy," or "I'm not fully taken." She might say things that seem casual but carry enormous weight. Things that plant a specific idea in your head without her having to say it outright. She's not trash-talking her husband. She's creating space. She's making sure you know that there's a gap in her life, an emotional vacancy, and she's showing you exactly where it is. This is sophisticated because it gives her complete cover. If confronted, she can say she was just venting, but the message she's actually sending is something entirely different. And if you've been paying attention to the other signs on this list, you'll recognize it immediately. There's a massive difference between "nice shirt" and "that color looks really good on you." It brings out your eyes. One is a generic compliment. The other is a woman who has been studying your features closely enough to notice how a color interacts with your eye pigment. That level of observation doesn't come from friendship. It comes from attraction. When a married woman gives you compliments that feel specific, personal, and intimate, especially about your appearance, your voice, or your energy, she's telling you she's been paying a very particular kind of attention to you. And the more specific the compliment, the more thought went into it. The more thought went into it, the more she's been thinking about you. It's that straightforward. Here's one that most men never catch. When you mention another woman, even casually, watch her reaction. Does her smile tighten? Does she change the subject? Does she suddenly become quieter? Does she ask follow-up questions that feel more like an investigation than a conversation? Jealousy in a married woman who's attracted to you won't look dramatic. It won't be loud or obvious. It'll be subtle, restrained, and quickly hidden. But it will be there. And the reason it's there is because in her mind, on some level, she's already claimed emotional territory with you. Territory she doesn't want anyone else occupying. She may not have the right to be jealous. She knows that. But emotions don't negotiate with logic. They just show up and make a mess. So here's the thing. Recognizing these signs is one thing. Knowing what to do with that information is something else entirely. Attraction is human. It's natural. It happens whether we plan for it or not. But understanding the psychology behind it gives you clarity, and clarity is the most powerful thing you can have in any complicated situation. Now, I need to tell you something important before you go. There's another side to this equation that most people completely overlook, and it's what happens when a woman realizes she's lost someone she cared about. The behavioral shift is dramatic, and the psychology behind it is even more powerful than what I covered today. I actually broke this down in another video that's appearing on your screen right now. It's called How Women Treat You When They Know They've Truly Lost You: Powerful Relationship Psychology. That video is essentially the other half of today's conversation, and honestly, if you watch this far, that one is going to hit you even harder. The reactions I describe in that video, some of them will genuinely shock you. Go watch it now. It's right there on your screen. Because once you understand both sides of this psychological coin, nobody will ever be able to confuse you about where you stand with a woman again.